Shane MacGowan. It was actually just yesterday evening by chance. I played a song on air that was called If I Should Fall From the Grace of God. And Donald was coming on to do the news, and we just started talking about Shane. Obviously, he hasn't been well, and we're sort of predicting, obviously, not realising that it would happen so soon. But it's a sad day. But what a legend! What a legend! I've asked Donald actually just to come in and have a wee chat as well. Donald, you've seen Shane perform live several times.
Several times, Ivan. Yeah, I first saw the Pogues in Hammersmith Palais in London in 1987. Saw them again in London, and then I saw them at the First of the Féiles in Semple Stadium in Thurles in 1990. They headlined. They were magnificent, actually. Their version of Thousands Are Sailing that night, I will never forget. It was just amazing. Last time I saw Shane actually was here in Letterkenny. He played, I think, Paddy Kelly and Marty McIntyre on the gig. It would have been...
Was it the Grill?
It was in the Grill 10 years ago, I'd say. Probably 10 years ago, give or take. Early, It might be more than 10 at this stage. It might be 15. But I'm sure PK would put us right on that. But that was the last time I saw him. And at that point, he actually performed in a wheelchair.
I remember hearing
and what was interesting is to watch him. It was as though the songs were mentally imprinted on his brain. Because in between the songs, he was a little ropey. He wasn't in the best of condition on stage. He was very ropey. You could see that even at that point, mentally, he wasn't as aware as he might have been. But the songs were there. He'd be on the stage, he'd go, but then the music would start and he'd kick in and bang.
He did
muscle memory. I mean, he did Sally McLennan note perfect. No, he couldn't string a sentence, but Sally McLennan, but Jimmy played harmonica in the pub where I was born, and he goes, bang, the whole thing. What was really interesting was at the end he did the Irish Rover. And what was noticeable was the Ronnie Drew verses he was a bit ropey on, but his own verses again tight as a button. So a consummate professional performer.
You actually, no, we're not going to do it live on air, but you'd actually just when we were talking yesterday, you were just speaking the lyrics of one of his songs, which we can't say it on air because there's a few wee naughty words in there. But just when you were doing that, I was just kind of going, that's just pure poetry. Now the way you delivered it, just between me and you, we're just sitting here, but it was just pure poetry, and it was just poetry to music, if you know what I mean. So obviously he was famous and everybody knows him for A Fairy Tale of New York. I get that, and it was an amazing piece of work as well. But some of the early stuff, that sort of period between 84 and 88, Red Roses for me, Rum Sodomy and the Lash.
Totally.
I think Rum Sodomy.
It is poetry. I mean, and I would say the lyrics of Shane MacGowan have as much right to be called poetry as the words of Yeats or Heaney or anybody else. I mean, the song we were talking about was The Sickbed of Cuchulainn. Now, I will argue that Sickbed of Cuchulainn lyrically is one of the greatest Irish songs of all time. I mean, the words are magnificent. I mean, and as you said, when you actually read them, they work as poetry. They have that power as poetry, which I think is fantastic. I mean, Shane had his demons. Shane had his faults. Shane had his battles with addiction, as we well know, and it would be very naive to think that didn't play a contributory factor to the ailing of Shane's health. But Shane was also an amazing writer.
And he lived his life the way he wanted. He
did,
and he was quite humorous about it as well. That famous line where he says, "I've been given 6 months to live 25 years ago." That was his sort of just the humor coming through as well. So.
And maybe sometimes I think he didn't get the respect as a writer he deserved because of his persona.
Exactly.
Because you look at Shane, if you look at Shane MacGowan, you're not automatically thinking, "Oh, there goes a spokesperson for a generation. There goes one of the greatest writers of words that Ireland ever produced." But he was.
Of course,
for the way he looked and for all his faults and for all his foibles. I still reckon that MacGowan has every right to be called a great Irish poet as much as Heaney, Yeats or anybody else.
Well, I agree 100%. So, listen, just wanted to bring you in for a second, Donald, just to recognise, obviously, the loss. But, it's a celebration as well today as well.
Oh, totally.
So we're going to try and squeeze in a couple more songs. Thanks for coming on, Donald. I'm going to go for Sally McLennan, which we've mentioned in the interview there. So thank you, Donald.
With the TFI Go app from Transport for Ireland, paying your bus fare couldn't be easier. Simply buy your ticket on the app, tap to activate, show it to your driver and go. Fares are up to 30% cheaper than cash, and you can save your payment details and favourite journeys for easy future purchases. Download the TFI Go app today and use on participating TFI services, including Bus Éireann, TFI